Alright, we're live. Once again. Still trying to figure out how Riverdale is still on TV. Anyway, today's episode we're going to be talking about the comic books after the Royal Rumble, which wasn't really that bad of a Rumble. I mean, it was okay. I mean, some of the matches they had were kind of shitty, but anyway. Today we're going to be talking about the more Batman stuff. We're going to be talking about crazy things that happened. Sadly, we lost a basketball legend, icon, Kobe Bryant. And I was really like stunned when the news broke about that. Kobe Bryant, his daughter sadly passed away as well, and there was 9 people on the helicopter, and I hope they do an investigation. They got to do an investigation to look further into like what the hell happened on that day. And anyway, we're gonna kick off the intro. We're gonna get articles rounded up, and I might read a story on the Phantoms and Monsters. We haven't done that in a while, so anyway, sit back and let's play the intro, shall we? Anyway, a lot of the big stuff happening in the geek news and stuff, and I'm trying to find a place where I put my my water. I have bottled water with me. So anyway, Nightwing has come to Batman Beyond, and he's looking for, spoiler alert, Dick Grayson, one of the most iconic characters in the Bat family. As the first Robin, he has inherited many roles over the years, the mentor to other Bat family members, Batman himself, a leader of the Teen Titans, and even one time where he was known as Rick Grayson, as opposed to Dick. But Batman Beyond showcases him taking a different role, father. We learn that Beyond, Dick Grayson's daughter is missing, and as any good father, he will only wants what's best for her. Has shielded her from the hero life. Probably the only problem is his daughter is a pretty intense superhero of her own. Nightwing's daughter is the very own Batwoman. Dun dun dun. I'd like to know one thing. Who the hell's the mom? That I want to know is like, who the hell's the mom? Is it Barbara Gordon? Is it Starfire? Is Dove? Because, they like to tie in the TV shows and stuff to things. Make it part of the continuity. Which they've done before, I mean, Marvel done it several times. And for me, it's just it's kind of interesting. His daughter is known as Elena. She's now a cow. It'd be interesting. Like, I would love to see him like pull the trigger on making Elena the daughter of Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon. I would love to see that. Be an interesting thing. It would be sort of risk taking. Hello. That's all right, love. We're talking. We just started the show. I played the intro and it went on for a minute. So anyway, they revealed in Batman Beyond the new Batwoman is the daughter of Dick Grayson, the former Nightwing, the former Robin. And no one knows who the mother is. So, for me, I would love to see them sort of reveal it that Barbara Gordon's the mom, the mother of the kid, but they won't do it. It's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying that they don't, like they don't want to pull the trigger. And for me, you would think, like, with the whole changing, like the whole groundbreaking change that is, coming, from Tom King and all that, you think they would, like, change the, like, I would feel bad if I was, like, the writer of Batman Beyond, because it's like, if something groundbreaking happens, you're like, shit, I have to include that. But they don't want to do it, like, you think that they would, change, things up a bit, but for me, I've always been a big fan of Batman Beyond, and for me, as a fan, it's interesting, and to see it, but at the same time, it's kind of annoying, because they don't go back in time. They don't, I mean, they do go back in time, but they never, like, show how everything's connected from this current universe to the future universe and stuff. And for me, I want to see them sort of, do a timeline book series of, like, show how every moment has changed Batman and Gotham itself, but they don't want to do that. Like, I would buy it. I would buy the book, if they did, like, a entire, timeline series or something. Like, it would be really cool. It would also get people, like, sort of caught up on, like, if they want to jump on board to, like, Batman Beyond, they could be like, here's, like, the entire series of, like, how it all happened, how Bruce Wayne sort of retired as Batman. Because, I mean, if, there's no way, like, some people seen Batman Beyond animated series and stuff. Like, when you imagine, like, if you're, like, you totally never seen the show, and all of a sudden you jump into the books, and you're like, wait, this guy's Batman, and Bruce Wayne is sitting in the cave. What happened? Like, I would love to write a comic series of, like, showing how Bruce Wayne sort of, like, retires as Batman, and see all the other heroes, talk to Terry McGinnis. Because if you ever, like, watch the animated series, like, Terry McGinnis, it's a funny moment where Terry McGinnis sort of geeks out over the Justice League showing up. Like, you seen the new Green Lantern, who is sort of, I take it, a Buddhist. Because you see him, like, meditating, and all that. And you see Hawkman and Green Lantern's, John Stewart and Hawkgirl's son. You see, I think, the daughter of Big Barda and Mr. Miracle, if I remember correctly. I think It's been a while since I've seen the show. Like, I have it on DVD and I just never... I have it on DVD and I watched, like, the first season and the third season. I never gotten around to see the third season. I seen the first two. I never caught up with the third. And you see, I think the chick who has, like, Aquaman and Mira's powers. I think that's how her name is. So you see all these characters, and you see Superman. Who gives a shit? I will admit, Superman Beyond looks pretty cool. He has a cool black and white suit. I will admit that is a cool suit. But you see all these characters and stuff, and it's like, I would love to see the origin of how these characters came together. Like, because there's no fucking way Superman would be like, I want you, you, and you, and you, and you. Join the Justice League. There's like no fucking way Superman picked all these people. It had to be Batman. It had to be, like, or, you know, like some point of view. And you kind of like left with the question of like, okay, what happened to the Flash? What happened to Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl? What happened to Wonder Woman? What happened to John Jones, Martian Manhunter? Where did they all go? Like, did they go into retirement home or something? Like, what the fuck? And I'm always left with that question, and I hope somebody in the YouTube comments or somewhere in the comments be like, there's this comic. Because I just sort of sat there going like, wait a minute. It's like, if you watch it, mind you, this came out before Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. This, fuck Wonder Woman. It's funny though, because like one person, I wrote on Instagram story, like a question. Someone asked me like which Batman comics I like, and I wrote, oddly enough, I grew to appreciate The Dark Knight Strikes Again, and most people are like, what? And I gotta say this one. I grew to appreciate The Dark Knight Strikes Again. I was like, I have the first. I don't have like the complete, book. Like the complete, graphic novel. I have like the 3 individual books. Because the covers are pretty cool. Like the cover that they did was like, the cover they did was pretty cool. Like all you see is like Batman's crazy eye and and you see all these characters and like the small panel and stuff. I like the cover because it's very Frank Miller-ish, the covers. I don't really like the second cover because the second cover has a close-up of Superman and Wonder Woman's face, which is a panel of them doing it in the sky, which that grosses me out because every time I look at it, I go, ugh. That's my reaction anytime I see it. I go, ugh. And I have to like flip through the book, open the book up, because it is pretty gross looking cover. I kind of want shit. I know, and I sort of sit there and I look at this book. I'm like, I would love to see the mindset of Frank Miller as he's writing this book and drawing it, because he drew the book. Him and Lynn Varney, who they both did the Dark Knight Returns, but they did it with someone else. I forget who. And they did the book, and mind you, it was in I think 2000 and 2001, and they wanted to try new things with The Dark Knight Strikes Again. And I think that's where I kind of grew to appreciate it, because they wanted to try new things, new art style, and new coloring and stuff. And I will admit, I respect the hell out of that. When someone wants to try something new, a new style, a new art look, I respect that. It's like when when a band does a new album, they try something new. I mean, not like when Bob Dylan switched from acoustic guitar to electric guitar. Not like that. That was awful. But I'm going to use, for example, The Killers. The Killers are one of my favorite bands. I will admit, I don't like their last album they did, Wonderful, Wonderful. I liked some of the songs, but I didn't really like the album because the album just didn't feel like the Killers album. It felt weird. It felt different. It felt like they were trying to be someone else. It felt like, when I heard it, it sounded like Brandon Flowers' solo albums. Like, it didn't feel like the Killers. Like, and oddly enough, like, Dave, the guitarist, wasn't part of it that much. It was really weird. It was like, then they went on tour. Then it was like 3 of the 4 members. Then the third, the bass player decided, like, I don't want to do it. Then it just became the 2 members of the Killers performing. And it's just like, I would want to go see them, but I don't want to see them if, like, it's just 2 of them. I want to see all 4 of them play. So, when Miller did the new Dark Knight Strikes Again, I felt like when I read it, when I read the Dark Knight Returns, it felt like 2 different books. It felt like 2 different Miller books, in my opinion. And a lot of people sort of like jumped on the bandwagon of being like, Frank Miller's Dark Knight Strikes Again is shit. It is awful. It is garbage. It's bad. And it's like, is it really that bad of a book? I mean, the artwork's kind of kooky and weird, and I like that. It's not really that bad of a book. I mean, I read some really bad books. I mean, I read some really bad comics. And I'm talking about Stranger in Paradise, so yeah, that is a weird, fucked up book. It's weird though, because like I bought like, it's weird though. I gotta talk about this story, and we will get to the other stuff. So I feel like it's story time. I bought Strangers in Paradise. When I first saw the title and the cover, I thought like, oh, it's a murder mystery book. No. Anytime I see like a book that's like white and black, I'm thinking like, oh shit, it's gonna get bad. And I read the book and the art cover, the art and the story. It just felt so bad. It was very indie. It's a very indie book, and I love indie books. Indie comics are the backbone of what's going on in comics. I forget who. With so many books, like, what's that artist's name I really like? He did an indie book, and so many, like, I love when people do indie comics. Like, they want to put out their own universe and world into a comic, and they want to share it. And I love that. That's where a lot of comic book creators sort of came from and stuff. And I forget who did someone did a book I really like, and it was, I'm trying to remember. Cyber Frog is the title. And I really liked Cyber Frog. It was really an interesting, like, you get to see a frog. It's like a frog part cyborg saving the world. And it's like the oddest thing I've ever seen. And it was a good book. Like, it was indie. It was a very indie comic. And hold on, I'm hearing something outside. Oh man, I gotta close my curtain. There are 2 cats outside doing it. Bring the curtain down. Because I do not want to see that shit. Two cats I feed outside name Bruce and Selena, because they're always together, are now at my back window doing their thing. And it's just gross. One does not want to see that. What's wrong with these cats? Anyway, I just heard something. I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? And I can't wait to see what someone's going to write in the comments about that. But anyway, Strangers in Paradise. It is the weirdest book. I know there's some people who are going to be like, well, the artist is the artist and writer is brilliant. He's given his own take. Don't be so close-minded. But when you see the book and the art is very... It's oddly enough, Jim Lee interviewed him and talked about him. But when you read the story, the story is so boring. It is boring and plain. I know there's some people who, you gotta be intellectually intelligent to read these books. It's I don't want to read a book where I just sort of sit there and go why did I buy this book? Anyway, I did watch the Royal Rumble. I didn't watch the Grammys because the Grammys are fucking boring. And if you watched the Grammys and you liked it, then that's good. I did not like... I don't like award shows. I mean, when Ricky Gervais hosts it, then it's different, because Ricky Gervais is going to say whatever the fuck he wants, and it's great and wonderful. But the Grammys are just boring. The music is bad. I mean, not bad, not... Billie Eilish, of course, performed, and I have nothing against Billie Eilish and stuff, and, it's great, But I watched the Royal Rumble, because I love the Royal Rumble. It's one of my favorite WWE pay-per-views, where you see a bunch of people in the ring, and you have to, throw them out, and stuff. It's really exciting to watch the Royal Rumble. But, with the big but, the matches that were not Royal Rumble is boring. You got to see Bayley versus Lacey Evans. Bayley won, of course, when I seen the matches of who's performing and stuff, you kind of knew, oddly enough, who was gonna win and stuff. And the Bayley match was just I was pulling for Lacey Evans to win. Then, of course they're going to set it up for Bayley versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. And Charlotte's going to fucking win, and, they're trying to get her to win 16 championships. To be be tied with her father, because her father was a 16-time world champion. Well, guess what? He lost it 16 times. Nothing really to brag about. And Becky Lynch versus Asuka. Everyone fucking knew Becky Lynch was going to win. everyone kind of knew Becky Lynch was going to walk out and win because, it's Becky Lynch, the man. The man, Becky Lynch. Yeah. I hate that fucking name, by the way. The man. You're not the man. Even though you probably gender identify yourself as the man, you're not the man. To quote CM Punk, who once yelled at a fan, "You have a vagina." That's what I want to yell at the TV. It's just like, you're not the man. You're not a man. You might have sideburns, but you're not the fucking man. You're just a name who uses your name as a politic post to get what you want. And I was aggravated when Asuka didn't win, because I was like pulling for Asuka. Asuka really carried that fucking match. She carried the match, in my opinion. And everything about the match was just bad. And spoiler, I did mention Charlotte versus Bayley. Charlotte won the Women's Royal Rumble, even though Shayna Baszler should have won it. When Shayna Baszler came out, I think number 29, 20, or number 30, I forget. I was pulling for Shayna Baszler to win. I was like, she's going to fucking win this match. And stuff. And she didn't win. Instead, Charlotte won, which was a shitty ending to that one, in my opinion. Finally, the Men's Royal Rumble. It was a boring start. I mean, Elias getting the shit kicked out of him by Brock Lesnar was brilliant. It was funny that me and my dad watched it, the Royal Rumble, and I remember he got mad when Elias got the shit kicked out of him. I don't like Elias. And if you ever watched him, in the ring and stuff, when playing the guitar, coming out to the guitar and saying WWE stands for Walk with Elias, and singing lyrics which are bad. When he came out, I was just like, please God, let Brock Lesnar just beat the living shit out of him. I was like, please just let it happen. Let Brock Lesnar just pulverize this guy in the ring. And it happened. I was happy. I was laughing, I was clapping. I was just like, this is brilliant. And when Paul Heyman gave Brock Lesnar the guitar to smash over Elias, I was just thinking like, thank you. I was annoyed with the entirety of this match. I was not happy with this match and stuff. And awesome. I found a way I could listen to the music while it's playing in the background. Oh, nope, it's for the listeners only. Damn it. But anyway. The match wasn't... The Rumble wasn't bad, and it got repetitive when Lesnar started throwing out every competitor in the Rumble. Like, John Morrison did not deserve to get thrown out. He should have stayed in the match. But, you had to make Lesnar look like a strong person in the match. And I think McIntyre won. So that's what happened at the Rumble. Was it great? Seeing Edge come back, that's what made it really brilliant. Seeing, Edge come back and wrestle, and I hope they bring back, Tony Chimel is his name? to be like the personal ring announcer for that. I mean, that was a great part of the Rumble. My favorite moment of the Royal Rumble has to involve Roddy Piper. I remember Cody Rhodes talked about this story, but I'm gonna repeat like some of the fun parts Cody Rhodes said. Roddy Piper comes out to the ring, and Jimmy Snuka is in the ring. For those who don't know, Piper and Snuka had a feud, a long-standing feud, which made it perfect. And Roddy Piper came out to the ring. And for those who don't know, Roddy Piper is in my favorite movie of all time, my favorite sci-fi movie, They Live. My favorite movie, my favorite sci-fi film. I love that film. And it's hard to find that film on DVD and Blu-ray nowadays. Like, it is fucking hard to find it anywhere. Because the movie's like almost obsolete. It almost does not exist nowadays. And Roddy Piper came out to the ring, and his music playing, his bagpipe music, and he has that expression on his face like, I don't give a fuck type of look. And Piper's removing his kilt. He removed his leather jacket, then his kilt, and he points at Jimmy Snuka and yells, "You motherfucker." And I remember seeing that live on TV, and I'm thinking, like, did he just drop the MF bomb on television? And it was brilliant, because Jimmy Snuka just stood there. And it was like the Roddy Piper moment. And I love that. That was like the best Royal Rumble moment ever. Was just that Roddy Piper moment where Piper yells that out loud, where it's picked up on the camera and audiences and stuff. And that was my favorite moment. Like, God rest those two. Like, that was a brilliant moment in Royal Rumble history, in my opinion. Like, I just thought that was so funny. Like, and Piper does deliver like one of my favorite movie lines, which was, oh man, what was it? Was I chew bubblegum and kick ass, but I'm all out of bubblegum. Like, that was just like the best Piper moment and stuff. So yeah, like, what does one message say? I was hoping Ronda Rousey would appear at the Rumble. Yeah, I was hoping for that too. Like, Ronda Rousey comes back and kicks the shit out of Becky Lynch and stuff. Like, she didn't really lose the women's championship, in my opinion. Like, she didn't, like, her arms weren't down. Like, she got cheated out of that match. But yep, the man plays politics. So anyway, I know I'm getting a lot of hate for that Becky Lynch thing and stuff. I want to read something that's kind of interesting. I have gotten to read some of the great stories of alien abduction and stuff, and you know, from the Sims and Monsters thing. Like, I have not, and I seen this one story, and it made me think of my sister. For those who don't know, my sister is a prepper. For those who don't know, she is a doomsday prepper thing, and she has a lot of guns. Like one time, I told this story before. She is the person I went to at Thanksgiving, and she had, I think I told the story. I don't know if I did, but her one wall, she's a big fan of like Deadpool. Her and my nephew are like big fans of Deadpool and stuff, and on her wall, I bought her. I'm gonna buy her this Deadpool cosplay mask where you can hang up on the wall, because on her wall she has samurai swords and guns. She's a gun owner, and it's like in a case, and it's like, you know. So I thought, like, you know, you need a Deadpool mask to go right there. Lady Deadpool. So one day, this is a true story, and I love this story. My sister told me this story, and I was laughing hysterically at the story. And she had chickens, and for those who don't know, owls kill chickens and bats and stuff like that. Owls do kill them. Like, you know, like the biggest enemy to a bat is not a clown, it's an owl, actually. So my sister had chickens, and this was like years ago. She had chickens, and one day an owl tried to take one of her chickens. I thought it was a chicken hawk, she said, and she shot at it. She shot at an owl. She ran, grabbed her gun, and started firing right out the door at the owl, which she thought was like a hawk, you know, that takes chickens and kills them. But it was an owl. She shot at this owl. She didn't injure it. She shot at it. And I just looked at her. I'm like, you shot at Hegwood. And she just sort of like looked at me like, you don't understand, that's my chicken, that's my livelihood. I'm like, you just nearly fucking killed a bird over a bird. And stuff. And I'm like, and I remember thinking, like, why didn't you just punch at it? Do what Kevin Smith did. Punch at the owl. I mean, like, would you imagine that would be like the greatest contact human owl fist ever? And all you hear is, "Ooh." Like, that would have been the greatest thing ever. And she was like, well, I shot at the owl, and it, you know, flew off, and it looked back at me. It was probably going like, who shot at me? That's what they're probably thinking. The crazy blonde woman with a gun. But the story, I sent a link of it to my sister, and my sister's first response was, shit. People in Pennsylvania and in Washington claimed they had encounter with a humanoid owl. That's right, a humanoid owl. When I saw this, I thought to myself, like, this is insane. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, like, is the person high, or was the person wearing an owl mask where they're just like something like that? But instead, it was an owl, you know, humanoid owl. So I guess we're going to read the first story, then we're going to read the second story, and we'll get to it. I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. Hold on. So anyway, let's get to the story. About 23 years ago, around 1996, I saw an extremely tall white owl standing on the side of Old Country Road. What is with the Old Country Road? It sounds like, anytime they do that, it sounds like a country music song. It was about 5 feet tall. Shit. I had never seen anything like it before. This was in Pennsylvania. It was so scary. Well, yeah, I mean, you live in Pennsylvania, of all places. I'd be scared too. We were in a car. I wish they would have put that down there. Because, like, when they think of it, you think, like, oh, they were standing on the road. We were in a car. And I wanted to go back, but my ex was too afraid to turn the car around. He kept trying to convince me and himself that was a person in a costume. But it was definitely wasn't. I just wanted him to drive by so I can get another look. Why didn't you just take a photo? Oh, it was 96, sorry. They didn't have camera phones back then, so I didn't want to stop or anything. I didn't want to stop or anything. It was in Western PA, in Clinton. Well, shit, you're in Clinton. You're done. Which I believe is in Beaver County. This owl thing that I saw looked exactly like a white owl, just huge. I remember its head turned towards the road, so I seen the face perfectly. It never gave me any vibe. It could be human in any way, or have humanistic looks, human features, other than its height. If you know where Jenkins Farm is, we were a little further out than that, heading to the highway towards Pittsburgh. It was dark, secluded road, with no traffic. It just finished thunderstorming, a really bad storm, and it was raining lightly. The windshield wipers had just swept away the rain. That's when I saw it. It was a frightening sight. Okay. Was the tall owl like what humanoid shapeshifter stalking us? It was about 4 years ago, 2015. It was getting dark pretty early, fall evening, around 7 p.m. My girlfriend, roommate, and I were walking along the train tracks, surrounded by the woods on both sides. We love exploring little in between areas, so this wasn't an uncommon event. Kind of sounds like my childhood. Like, I remember my sister and her friends would go to the train tracks for some odd reason, because I don't know why. We were kind of stupid. But anyway, we love exploring the area, so this wasn't an uncommon event. We were about 5 miles into the tracks in the woods, and we were considering heading back since it was getting dark quick. None of us had any flashlights, then why the hell did you both... Why did you go? So, anyway, I'm going to take a quick break real quick, and I will finish up the rest of the story. So, I'll be right back. Do-do-do-do-do. Anyway, I'm back. Is anybody here? Hopefully. Suddenly, I got this Alright, to quick start where we're at. We're reading about people going to the train tracks and not having any flashlights, so anyway. Let's get back to the story. Suddenly I got this sensation. Almost a nausea, including dread. Kind of sounds like my anxiety. Paranoia. But this dread. And looked at both of my friends who were with me. And saw that they too were feeling something. A wide eye looking around. Let's start heading back, I declared. They all nodded in a silent agreement. Mind you, we were doing just fine seconds ago. Then, and do this sort of thing all the time. So this sudden onset of fear was unusual. Not something that we were prepared for or used to. Just as we turned around, we all heard a strange sound. A sound almost quite like thunder / metal hitting metal. That was coming from what sounded like off in a distance. We just whipped around and to see what made the noise. A large white bird that I think was an owl flew out over our heads, silently flapped its wings, and disappeared behind the trees. That was a good 25 feet behind us. We all looked at each other, trying to make sense of what the hell we just heard. Started walking briskly back towards civilization. You heard what sounded like twigs snapping in the woods behind us. My girlfriend and I turned around to see what made that noise. Peeking from behind the tree, the owl that flew behind us was what looked like impossibly a tall ghost white humanoid shape with one hand on the tree trunk as it peered out from behind. Before we could get a good look at its face, it quickly retreated back to behind the tree and out of our sight again. My girlfriend and I looked at each other, panicked. She opened her mouth saying something, and I told her, "Don't talk about it. We need to walk faster." My roommate looked at us, confused, clearly scared. What I just said, so I told her we need to probably run home at this point, which we did. I told a few people about the story. No one believes me. No shit, I wouldn't even believe you. I don't even believe the story that I'm reading, to be quite honest with you. A humanoid owl. I mean, if I seen something like that, I'd be like, who? I'm messing with everybody. So, I mean, I would have a hard time believing it. So I told a few people about the story. No one believed me. What I saw was not an owl. I had seen it earlier. This being had was clear ghost's white hand on the tree trunk. The neck and upper body was tall, almost like 7 feet at least. Not tall enough to reach the tree branch of the tree, though. I wish I could have made out the face. It was so dark. The only reason I could see it was because how white it was. What happened between Tottleman Lake and Woodville, Washington, I believe if you follow the tracks long enough, they'll go behind the weariness. But anyway, when I tell you one thing, I have a hard time believing the story. I really do. I don't know what inspired. I don't know what these people saw. Like, I'll be honest with you. It could be an illusion the mind creates to see something. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I want to read this one case. It was pretty insane. I read this story a while back. I don't know if anybody remembers the Watcher thing. It was kind of like the weirdest story. I know that I think they end up selling the house, what I've heard, and someone mentioned to me, like, when they sold the house, like, the neighbors got, like, letters and stuff, and it sort of made me laugh a bit, because it's like the story of the Watchers thing was kind of, like, insane, but anyway, DC Comics, of course, did their Mexico release of Birds of Prey. And I know a lot of people are divided on the Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey film. Which is kind of... which was kind of sad, but at the same time kind of like... trying to find it. Shit, did DC just delete the comments and stuff to it or something? Like, shit, I think they did. Wow. They did. I fucking knew it. Alright, this one dude, like, alright, DC posted this. I can't fucking believe they did it. Alright, DC posted a story of the Birds of Prey release info. And a lot of people were writing on there that they want to see other stuff. Like, this one dude wrote, like, nobody, the Birds of Prey deserve better, instead of being tagged, in Harley Quinn, tagged as a Harley Quinn film. And DC just fucking deleted comment. I can't believe that they fucking deleted that comment. That is fucking stupid of them. There was 11... They deleted all the fucking tweets to it. There was 11 tweets and now it's down to 3. It's like they must have fucking deleted it. I can't believe that. There's 11 tweets and they fucking deleted all of them. And they reposted it. That is shitty on them, man. They reposted the tweet and they deleted the old one in the comments. I can't believe that. Like, this one person, I don't agree with this one person. This person wrote, Jared Leto is our Joker. Release it, your cut. No one doesn't want it. Let's see. I can't believe they deleted it. Like, one person wrote... Wow, that is just stupid of... That is dumb of DC for doing that, like... Yeah, the problem is... I'll say it. I don't really care what, Yeah, they fucking did it. Like, they fucking deleted it. I can't believe DC deleted that. I knew it. This one dude wrote, like, nobody wants it. Here it is. DC fans can't take other people's comments or opinions. They need to grow up. Birds of Prey looks like dog shit. Dude, I agree with you. I mean, I'm a DC Comics fan, and wow, DC deleted a tweet. I knew it, man. Anyway, the thing is, I'm gonna say it. Birds of Prey looks awful. And this dude also wrote, I gotta read this one. Margot Robbie is an idiot. She said she chose the Birds of Prey to spotlight lesser female heroes. Black Canary and Huntress are far from lesser known. He is right. Like, I agree with that. Like, here's the thing. And I'm gonna say this. And I'm a DC Comics fan. Lifelong fan. We are going from the Joker movie, which is nominated for 11 Oscars. Joaquin Phoenix is most likely going to walk out with Best Actor. Todd Phillips most likely going to walk out with Best Director, but 1960 looks pretty good. Sam Mendes might walk out with that one, but Joker might walk out with Best Picture. Which, would you imagine, like, if it walks out, would you imagine, like, your DC Comics, Joker walks out with Best Picture of the next DC Comics film is Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey, would you imagine the mindset that is? Like, you got the Joker movie, which is like the biggest film of the decade. The biggest film that ended the decade. Dark Knight Rises, in my opinion, the biggest film of the decade, but the best film of the decade, in my opinion. But just imagine, like, the next film is Birds of Prey, which is divided comic book fans. And I immediately went on defense by saying the film doesn't look that good, which I am standing by it. It does not look that good of a film. It doesn't. It looks really a really bad film. It looks really bad. I mean, it looks cheaply made. And I don't know how people could defend it. Like, how can DC Comics fans defend this film by saying this film is the best? Yeah, and the first thing about it, with them defending it is immediately, you're sexist, girl power. I want to see more girl power films. Bitch, you got Wonder Woman. You got Black Widow coming out. You had Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. Those films were done right. You got the Avengers. They done right with female audiences. Captain Marvel is a boring fucking film. But you can't immediately go like, you're sexist, girl power. You can't immediately go to that defense. I'm saying is this film looks bad. The characters don't even look accurate in the film. There is nothing accurate about this film that's good. Cassandra Cain is an annoying, chubby Asian girl. What the fuck? Harley Quinn looks like she walked out of a crack house. And I find Harley Quinn painfully annoying in a live-action film. I don't want the over a top Harley Quinn with, obnoxious Southern accent voice. I mean, if you want a Harley Quinn film, do it at least like the animated series, where it looks actually fun. This film looks painful. Painful to the eyes. I mean, I've never seen a film that looks so bad in my life. Till Suicide Squad, but Suicide Squad is bad. I mean, Birds of Prey might take the top list of bad films I've seen. I got Ghostbusters 2016 for free, and I didn't want that film. That film was forced on me, and I never watched it. I heard it's not that great, so I never got to see Ghostbusters. But Birds of Prey, it looks bad. And if this is going to be like the film that kicks off the new decade for DC, they're going in bad. And this just shows it. They deleted a tweet that person made a comment on. They deleted a tweet when someone said, like, this film doesn't look that good. This proves it. They deleted a tweet, then they re-uploaded it trying to get away from the bad press of people writing on there like, release the Snyder Cut. This film does not look that good. This is pretty fucking bad on them. They should, if you're going to release this film and force it on everybody who does not want it, like your Harvey Weinstein, who gives a shit? I made that joke anyway. But if you're going to do this, at least have the balls to stand by this film instead of turning around deleting a tweet because someone said something that this film does not look that good. And here's the thing about it, like the idea of them any idea of them here's the other tweet the person wrote. DC has a horrible track record with team-up movies in their movie universe. So the one reason Birds of Prey will be terrible besides ruining Birds of Prey is a group by tagging them with Harley Quinn. That is true. This person's a big Constantine fan, so... And the person's response to his tweet and stuff was, okay, little baby, anyway, February 7th in theaters. Who the fuck cares about Birds of Prey? Anyway. And already putting Birds of Prey in the comics. I mean, the Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey in comics. Pass. Anyway. So, that is pretty bad for DC to delete the tweet and stuff and re-uploading it. Here's the thing. I don't hate on the DC films and stuff. I look forward to seeing what they come up with next. Anyway, I gotta wrap up the podcast show and stuff, and I'm gonna see what's going on with the cats. The cat and the dogs so far. They're very quiet. It's kind of scary. But anyway. I'll be back with tomorrow's episode. We're going to be talking more comics and stuff. We're going to see... hold on. Let's see what one comic is. Yeah, McIntyre won. Who do you think will be who do you think would be his opponent at WrestleMania? It's most likely going to be Lesnar, because they're probably going to write out the whole Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt, the Fiend thing at WrestleMania. Probably give Bryan his WrestleMania moment of defeating the Fiend and stuff like that. The thing about it is I think they're cautiously avoiding it because they don't want to make the Fiend... They don't want to screw that up because that's like the only money maker they're making. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, well, they got the New Day and they got Brock Lesnar but what do you think about, like, I talked about it once with someone. It's like, if you look at WWE, they don't have the, really characters that stand out. Everyone's just basically, basic and bland and kind of boring. But I enjoyed, the Royal Rumble match itself was fun. The Royal Rumble itself was a fun match, but the matches before it were kind of bad, in my opinion. It's my opinion. I get annoyed with I got annoyed with Stone Cold Steve Austin in cut scenes of him like talking and stuff, because I don't like Steve Austin. I don't. I know a lot of people love him, but I don't like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I just kind of find him boring. I mean, that's basically what he does. He, Austin 316 says, I whipped your ass, and after he Stone Cold stuns somebody, he drinks a bunch of beer cans, and that's it. It's like, that's it. Like, it's kind of boring. But anyway, I will be back tomorrow. Same here. Yeah, it's kind of a boring gimmick. It's like, when you look back on it, it's kind of like, was that basically it? Like, at least The Rock had catchphrases and insults and stuff like that. But, do you think Undertaker would come back to... I hope not. I like Undertaker, but I wish he would have retired after the streak ended. Like, they should have just, like, retired Undertaker and, like, let him go off into sunset and enjoy life. But, a lot of people are, like, wanting to see Sting versus Taker. It's like, I don't want to see it. As much as I wanted to, like, when I was a kid, like, wanting to see Sting defeat Taker, but nowadays I kind of don't want to see it. I don't really want to see it. I mean, Sting's like 60, and I think Taker's close to 60, I think. I don't know. But I really don't want to see... I don't want to see them in a match where they're old. That's like the match that's like best in the video game world, or debates. Like, who would win in a fight? Thor or Hulk or Batman versus Superman? Batman wins. But I really don't want to see Sting versus Taker at Mania. I really don't. Sorry. Do you think... Oh, this one's a great question. Do you think Ben Affleck would come back as Batman? I would love to see that. I would love to see, Ben Affleck come back as Batman, but... the idea that I've heard was that they want to have Flashpoint sort of bring in Pattinson, or Robert Pattinson as Batman, into the DCEU verse. But Matt Reeves wants to make his own Batman trilogy. I honestly think that the smart way they could do it is have, like, I think at the next, like, Comic-Con or something, where you just have, like, like Jim Lee, I've heard, is, like, in charge of it. I would love to see, like, Jim Lee, Matt Reeves, and Ben Affleck come out, and they would say, like, the Batman that you'll see in the trilogy with Robert Pattinson and all that is in its own separate universe. This is DC Black Label Films. Ben Affleck's Batman, you see, will be in the DC Universe films. They're separate universes. We showed it with the Flash showing up in the TV show Flash and Crisis. That would be a smart way they could do it, which you would have both, Ben Affleck's Batman, and you'll have Matt Reeves' Batman. It would be smart if they did it that way, but it's most likely they won't do it. I don't think they could do it, but... I mean, I think they could do it, but I don't think they will do it, because Ben Affleck pretty much said, fuck it, I'm done. As Batman. Which kind of sucks because I like Ben Affleck's take on Batman. Like the older, Batman who's seen crazy shit, type of version. But, it's interesting to see what Robert Pattinson does as Batman. It's going to be kind of interesting, but, I kind of wish they would, do this, the thing I said, like, have two separate universes. And at the end, they would be like, we're doing a Superman 2 film with Henry Cavill. That is, like, the one thing I think a lot of people are just pissed off and aggravated. And that's the thing with DC films and stuff, is, like, they have no clear direction of where the fuck they're going. At all. Which is sad. It is really sad, because you think with, you have the guy who's in charge of it, who produced The Conjuring and all that stuff, would have a clear mind of where they're going. But they don't. They don't have a direction of where they're going to go. I mean, for God's sakes, they're putting out the first film of their decade. The new decade is Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. They obviously have no direction where they're going to go and stuff. And it's sad. I mean, you have all the greatest characters in the play box. You think that they would have, like, a timeline of what films they're going to do with, like, Superman, Batman, Flash, Aquaman. I mean, they did Aquaman, and all that. You think they would have, like, everything planned out of where they're going to go, but instead it's like, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman. You're going to have to wait an extra year for the more films. There you go. That type of thing. Like, that's the whole fucking plan they have. They have no direction of where they're going to go. At all. Even though, somebody who's a DC fan, a fellow DC fan would be like, they got films planned out and all that. It's like, story-wise, do they have things planned out? I mean, I don't want a bunch of solo films and all of a sudden, like, bam, you get Justice League. I don't want that. Like, at least Snyder had plans of where they're gonna go. But, now they don't know. And it's like, it's pretty bad where Margot Robbie revealed that if Birds of Prey does great at the box office, they're going to continue on with the Harley Quinn trilogy, with the second film being Harley Quinn and the Gotham City Sirens. Fuck that. Fuck that. Gotham City Sirens should be about 3 individuals, not just about Harley Quinn. And they're going, the third film will be, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey versus Gotham City Sirens. It's like, enough with this. But anyway, I guess we'll talk about that tomorrow. My continued rant of the DC films and stuff. So anyway, I will see you all tomorrow. And final thoughts are, I don't know where they're going anymore. But anyway, see you all tomorrow.